This is our Granblue deck profile for VPT. I don't really have much else to say for it. It's just straight Granblue. So this is a Night Rose list. It takes some inspiration from like Kelvin's list from BRO, Solemn's list as it's influenced everybody, and just stuff of my own. I also cut some stuff out that I would run competitively, so I'll just mention it as I go. So it's on Night Rose right now. The whole battle between Beatrice and Night Rose is very fair. I'm running it at 2 right now. I just really like the write-up here. In the case you don't have a solid grade 2 game, you can at least put some damage on here. So it's there for that. Of course, but Beatrice is a great combo extender. It's a great Vanguard on its own as well. It's extremely versatile. We don't run too many ghosties in here, but it's a very good card nonetheless. I'm on 2 Dragon right now. Normally, you'd run 3. I just kind of cut one for space to run other things. But, ideally, you'd probably want to run 3, as my friends would concur.
Yeah, we all had a little reaction just now. We were like, "God damn, we was only at 2."
I was only at 2 for Spring Fest, and then 1 Night Storm because Night Storm. It's not really much to explain there. The card doesn't come out of the deck soon, unless they break it somehow. They break another card. 3 Alenia. I'm seeing people start to run Clipping Dragon, and I respect them for that. You can go, 2 Alenia, 1 Clipping Dragon. I hate Clipping Dragon. It's a very personal conflict. So I'm not running it. This card's pretty good for the grade 2 game. You want to run at least 10. I'd run at least 3 10k bodies. So that way you can see it on your write-up and, slow down some of the most aggro decks in the format. 2 Columbard, because 2 Columbard is correct. You can, I would run it at 3 max, but it's not a card that you have to see all the time. Honestly, I'm not there. I'm not there with that card. Same thing goes for Greed Shade. You only truly need 1 Greed Shade at a time. This card is extremely good defensively and offensively. It sets up your hand as you continue to during your stride turns, during the early game, and everything in between. And then we have the 1-ofs, 1 Ghost Ship, 24k attacker, draws a card, you can loop it. It's pretty self-explanatory. This is a great card. Cannoneer, it's a card I use a lot. I don't like that I use it a lot, but nonetheless, being able to shut down everything that you need to shut down to, whether you're cutting a turn in half, it's a very, very good card. I cannoneered somebody during Spring Fest, and the draw off of it let me survive their turn, and it was a pretty crazy turn. We'll talk about it in the podcast probably. The podcast. And then 1 Nectar. You can run a different grade 2. You can run the 3rd Skull Dragon. This is more of a just casual tech. It's probably even going to come out soon. There's almost no reason to run this card. But it's nice to give your Skull Dragon a crit. It's nice if you can't rebuild your board too well to just throw this on one of your rear guards on one of your kill turns and have it swing. But it's not necessary. I'm just running it to have fun. Grade 1s, 3 Tommy. Tommy is a very good card. It being an 18k attacker or booster on a Night Rose turn is insane. It lets you swing for numbers that can't really be guarded, or otherwise is letting you search out your heal guardians. That's all that really needs to be said about that. This slot would be Rollick, but we're not at Spring Fest anymore. So I'm on Cutlass. I used to run Jesse as instead of the Nectar, and ran the Rollicks here. And that's completely understandable to do that. I like this card. It takes up slots, but I like this card. And then 2 Bone, because, you know, in a Night Rose deck, I think it is a bit harder to set up. Your hand will not be as big as if you were on Beatrice. So having this to build your board is great. I really like this card too. And having it at 2, I've clutched up so many more situations than I can credit. 1 Ripple Banshee. I don't remember what I ran here, but it's Ripple Banshee. It gives you an extra draw early game, and save you in those niche situations. We get to my PG. So as of now, I'm running 1 Dolph. Dolph's really nice on ride. It's a 7K, which comes up sometimes. The draw and ditch is really good early game, depending on what you open with. And, you know, you can run more. You can definitely run the countercharge PG. But I kind of just started cutting that for space as well. 1 Bell for Narukami. This card is great card design. It fixed our worst matchup and is otherwise a great card. I'm also looking forward to using Negro Bolt soon. So this thing is going to just be an all-around MVP. I'm running 1 Honolly. It fixes a lot of our other matchups, you know, because this deck likes to play slow. You just need it. And you also need this against Narukami to a degree. You set this behind a Honolly so that it can't be targeted during the main phase. And if anybody tries to attack into it, you dismal it. So now it's invincible. Tachis can't interact with it. Dolls can't interact with it. It's pretty niche, but it's also pretty nice offensively because you can sit. Eventually, it's pretty good too. With Skull Dragon, you don't have to run it. I kind of just threw it in here. I did not run it at Spring Fest, so you can say you don't have to run it. But, you know, if you're playing against dolls, I was seed A, so this was probably just necessary. It's extra, but it's necessary.
Oh, man.
That was great.
Out of pocket as always.
Grenache.
He censored himself.
All right, Trigger. Oh, Grenache. Okay, well, it's good if you're not playing like a turbo deck.
Using a cooking technique.
If you're not playing like a turbo mill deck, Grenache is helpful in that regard. It being a free, just throw it down. Countercharge 2. You know, if you Sabreeze somebody, use it. It refunds it, which is pretty. I think it feels good. It's otherwise just, you know, as staple as it gets. You know, this card used to be extremely expensive, and thankfully it's not now. Trigger lineup. I'm on 2 draw PGs. You really don't need to do this. I was playing earlier and I had to mill it out with a column bard because I was gonna deck out. But otherwise, you know, it's a PG that you can throw in your trigger lineup for space. And drawing, you know, at least early, it's not that bad. And then I'm on 1 crit set. This is a bad idea, but we at least have protect markers in this clan, and it lets me run an extra crit, right? So that's 1 crit.
This is an S tier deck running a bad idea, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, it is. 4 strike crit, because it's strike crit. You usually mill out most of your grade 3, so you have to run it. 1 wild seas. You can run more of it, but instead right now I'm running 2 rough seas from G. This card is great to thin out your deck and look for, you know, maybe your right target, because that happens sometimes, honestly. It's a great card. I would probably run it at more, but it's a G trigger, so it's pretty bad. Cody, this card is even worse. But it's nice. I was able to extend out and win games using this card because it calls itself when something is retired. So when your Skull Dragon kills itself and your opponent thinks the turn is over, you can gotcha them with the Cody. That puts me at 9 crits. You can say this is a 10th one. This over triggers really good. I can't say it's the best in the game, but you know, it's probably the second best in the game, maybe. I don't know. 4 heals. 4 Heal Guardians, because you have to run Heal Guardians. You don't really have the choice. G-Zone, 1 small Obadiah. Unfortunately, I don't think that you can cut it with this new stride. It's there for the CB denial, which will happen, especially like in a list like mine when you're you know, if you don't retire your board with the Night Rose, or you're just not on it, you know, things happen. So this is there for you. Otherwise, we're running 2 Big Obadiah. You know, it's a very staple card. You know, it's very good early and late game because you can build the drop zone very well, and it deck compresses very nicely. So that's there. 2 Bad Bounty. This is the win con. I totally didn't just have to flip that over for the just to try out the new stride.
Yeah,
2 Bad Bounty.
Looking through his G-Zone and there's a flip card.
I was like, oh dang. All right. Hold on.
Next card.
You know, this is your finisher. Ideally in a deck that's built like this, I would say you don't really come off the bounty. But you definitely can run the new stride if you want to. It has its own situations in my opinion, but you know, this is there as one of your main finishers. And then to all the stuff that I wish people didn't have to buy because it's expensive. Mortal Galleon, GB8, it's very good. It comes in handy sometimes when you just can't manage your resources. It happens, you know. This card's very good to build your board out. Balan Arena, I have yet to use this card personally, but you know it's there for your options. It's very good against Mega Colony. It's very good against Link's Joker. You can consider it a flex, but I also didn't buy it personally, so it's, you know, it's there. It is still a very important option in your worst matchups. Knowing how good Order Bugs is. Megiddo. Your Megiddo turn in this deck is strictly worse because we're at 2 Skull Dragon, but nonetheless, it is still an option for you. Sabreeze, because Sabreeze, you know, it's underrated. This card, I think, is going full circle. It's a very good card. And then G-Guards to Nora. It's really good to guard out some of the hardest kill turns in the game. It's one of your best chances against things like just stuff that restands their Vanguard a ton. I think it's, you know, our linchpin for the Regalia matchup as well. To Negro Lily, incredible card. You loop it with your Greed Shade, or you blow your opponent's stuff up. You know, this card is very versatile. You can run it at 3. I would like it at 3, but I'm not doing that. Deep Corpse for early game G-Guard. Ractome. I'm running it anyways in that slot. It's just, it's in another deck. And I would replace it.
We're not gonna be a separate.
Yeah, that's right. I would replace it with the new G-Guard as well, honestly. Because that G-Guard is also very good. And then a Dismal. Because it's Dismal.
G-Guards do you run?
That's 7 G-Guards.
7 G-Guards?
You only really run, you know, 6 important strides. Like, or 6 Granblue strides, and then 3 situational That's all you need. Bismal's there to protect your Honolly, or other stuff that you need on board. It's really only there for the Honolly, but you know, it's good. And that's all I got. Thank you guys for watching. That's my Granblue deck profile. In that list. You have anything to say about $300?
He doesn't like to lose, ladies and gentlemen.
This deck stops 2 of our decks, of our main decks.
It's a 1v1 game. I don't know what else to say. It's Bell. You have to run it for the Narukami matchup.
You just get digged down on our comments. All you need to do.
And just be better. Just be a better deck without Bell.
There you go. Be a good player.
Yeah.
Oh god.
I'm sorry. Be a better player. You're not. You're great, Jacob.
What's your record at top deck right now?
Oh, top
with Granblue?
Yeah,
no, there's
0
premium.
There's no with Zorga.
What's your tournament record?
My tournament record at locals with Zorga is 11-3. I don't run Bell in Zorga though, so it's like.
See? You don't need Bell to be
Oh,
good.
you got a point.
Proved our point.
Shit. Okay. I usually don't have to play it against you because you lose before you kill 2. You know,
He got you, bro.
but
Question.
yeah.
Why is it not the swimsuit Maggie?
Because I didn't want to spend $200 on a swimsuit. You know? I just wanted the Megiddo. It is weak. No,
But max rarity.
this deck is not max rarity, as you can tell throughout this deck profile.
Where are your RLRs?
Bro, we started playing premium again after all the RLRs went out of stock, so you guys cannot blame me for that.
Out of pocket. You know what we call it? Out of pocket era.
I hate this dude. I hate him. You run Grenache.